the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you got to do, make it last. Wait for the perfect.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 900 and... Wait, I didn't. 9,069. Tuesdays, I've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorgat, Sorgatron on the social medias. Back in the studio. You wouldn't have known unless you've seen the pictures. I was in Philadelphia this weekend for some little upstart event called WrestleMania. And having a good time out there. We'll talk a lot about that and our experiences, what you guys saw on the TVs, what some of us saw in person. So what some of the things that we can't talk about, we'll talk about on Patreon probably, because I got a couple stories for Patreon already we will talk about. But also with me, somebody who I ran into. I ran into his best friend in wrestling. The Riz is with us. And I got to hang out with your buddy RJ. A little bit.
Yeah, how was he? How is he?
RJ said he's doing fine. He's doing great. He said, I was really glad to see me. He seemed mostly sincere. So he was RJ.
You were a part of the 69,420 that came to see the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Congratulations.
Oh, there's a number of the people that went to both nights that's out there?
Sword. Did you not hear Snoop Dogg?
Well, I heard Snoop Dogg, and I heard Triple H respond about it. They're like, This is the number, no matter what Snoop Dogg says. So it was actually a lot of fun at the press conference afterwards.
So
I was not there. I watched it while I was trying to get out of the parking lot.
So you're saying Snoop Dogg and Triple H have beef?
I think we have a little bit of number beef. Emily Fear is here of the Grit and Glitter podcast. I saw you were there on the tweets, and I was like, well, you have to come in Tuesday.
I know, and I didn't get to see you at all, even though I think someone I was traveling with saw you at Stardom. I did not get to see you anywhere.
I was sneaky in the back. I of Stardom, but I saw him. I'm like, oh, Emily was there, and I was like, well, of course I wasn't out. I wasn't out there at all. So I had a very new role there, so that I don't usually have, but we'll talk about that a little later probably. No, it sounds like you were at a lot of places, and I thought that would be, we had 2 very different experiences. I did not work a lot this weekend, actually, which was kind of nice. I was a little sad because I was like, oh, I usually I'm working my ass off.
You're
but it was
normally
like
at show after show, yeah.
Yeah. Like I think the number was something like 15 shows last year because Circle 6 was running hour shows, so we counted them all. So between Nick from New Fear City, who I worked alongside for a lot of the stuff in Murder Mania, we were kind of in a competition there, and I think he beat me out because I ended up doing the FTR podcast instead of finishing the day out, but then I did do Mitzvah Mania on Sunday.
You did, yeah.
Yes. So I had something with topless nuns and God Isn't Real signs, and then I went to a temple on Sunday. So
yeah, that's a bit of whiplash.
Yeah, that was a little cultural whiplash, but I kind of felt like I needed it after that night. So
this year Circle 6 was running at a skate park, right?
So it was New Fear City, actually.
Yeah.
So Nick and them over there, and man, I wasn't going to talk Missy into going to another deathmatch show, let alone outside in the cold when we were going to sit out up in the rafters for 2 days at Mania. But man, the images looked amazing. This is the skate park from Tony Hawk. Apparently.
Wait. Is it the actual skate park?
It's the actual skate park that one of the parks was based off of in the Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
Riz is there goes Riz.
I'm you know how I'm not really into deathmatch wrestling. I would probably suffer through it just so I can be there.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
And it's like, it's not that death matchy. I didn't see anything too crazy, at least.
It can't be too much if it's in Philly, right?
I don't know. The cops showed up.
Yes, well, the cops showed up for a variety of reasons.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Lindsay Snow is apparently what they call her, Mama Narcan now.
She saved a man's life. She saved a fucking life.
So that was ODing.
We saw her at the clusterfuck, and she was real drunk. And
that seems right.
Or it seemed like seemed like she'd had a few. And you know what? Like, if anyone deserved to have a few after a couple of days, it was Lindsay fucking Snow, who saved a man's life. In addition to wrestling a bunch of matches, like judge not Lindsay Snow. You tie one on, tie five on. You get this. You save a life. You can get as drunk as you want.
It doesn't seem like it when she's bashing in Lady Frost's face at Bloodsport, but she is a charmer.
She seems like a sweetheart.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I got to. We got to film her and the whole group smoking up in the middle of the ring before I didn't eat before the FTR podcast. So I had a bad day. I didn't eat until 2 a.m. It was so bad. So then I get a message from a wrestler. Yo, I'm at this weed festival and I'm not gonna be able to take in that extra bed, bro. And now we get to play chat room. You can play guess the wrestler. And maybe it's not who you think.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that you threw me through a loop there.
Somebody gave it up more than one time. Anyway, so I got some footage here of I think the most this better be gone viral.
God,
Hold
gritty.
on. Yes. Oh wait, this is the aftermath. It's gonna loop here in a second. Yeah, I think there was a problem there. Hold on, it's gonna loop over. Here you go. There's Gritty on top of the skate park doing a somersault and
on to Kelly.
losing his stuff on to Kelly.
On to Kelly. Wait, so there's another like suited person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of mascots. There was Kaiju Big
Cheeton.
Battle.
There was Kaiju
I saw
Battle.
Cheeton there.
Cheeton was there.
Cheeton made a couple of appearances. It was
Yes.
great.
Did you get to see Cheeton?
Yes.
So Cheeton is this mascot. Instagram has introduced to randomly. So I've had a few things that have been introduced to me literally weeks before WrestleMania that I didn't know were going to be a part of WrestleMania.
Yes.
I'll show you the other thing in a moment, but Cheeton was one. I'll pull up the footage. And it's just it's a person in a mascot's costume that I think is in Japan.
Right.
Yes. So Cheeton makes appearances. I mean, Cheeton is a Japanese mascot, so Cheeton like appears elsewhere, but Cheeton makes lots of appearances in DDT and actually has had like storyline feuds with wrestlers in DDT. Most recently, in recent years, Chris Brooks and Cheeton have had like an ongoing feud, which was continued at DDT at the DDT show on Thursday night.
Of course, now I can't find anything.
Yeah. So Cheeton's first appearance during the collective weekend was at the DDT show on Thursday night. Dan the Dad came out and demanded a match, and then Cheeton came.
There's a John Oliver segment on
Yes.
Cheeton, which means I've probably seen it before.
Oh yeah.
But
Crowd. I saw a lot of big pops over the weekend, but I don't think I've witnessed a bigger pop over the weekend than the DDT crowd when Cheeton came out. Like, people went fucking nuts.
There was that happening. There was was there one where Cheeton was involved with something with a couple kaiju people
Yes,
that came out?
that was the clusterfuck.
The potato and everything. I need to watch it. I have Triller Plus. I need to watch all the collective this week.
The clusterfuck, because of how it ends up working out and that like people come out in kind of batches, there's like segments of things. So it's like, okay, here's a bunch of queer wrestlers, here's a bunch of other and then at some point it was like a grab bag miscellaneous weird collection of like, here is Cheeton and a giant rooster and Yoshihiko, and then three characters from Kaiju Big Battle.
Yes.
And that's
That's God. Let's keep talking collective because I got my stories, and I feel like, and we will talk WrestleMania at some point here. I swear.
Yeah, and I'm useless.
I feel like the experience here is like you know, I used to say about the Gathering of the Juggalos. Sometimes you just need to go see something really fucked up. That's also like Mania week if you're really digging into it, right, and not just going to the arena shows. Obviously I went to Ring of Honor Friday, and I went to the 2 days of Mania, and that was it for the big shows. Myself, I attended Kaiju Big Battle and the New Fair City Kickoff show. We'll talk about that in a moment, but I want to talk more about the collective. Let me know more about like what your experience was at collective. Of course, the clusterfuck, which I understand involved a Punjabi prison.
So the clusterfuck is 2 matches. It was
the whole show's 2 matches?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And it is over 3 hours long, and it starts at midnight. Well, It starts
Or
a little.
so.
It started
Late,
after, a
didn't
little
it?
after. But yeah, it definitely started late. The opening match was a 4-way tag Punjabi prison match. Which they kept saying like the first ever, and then like with like tiny print of like GCW or something. And the funniest thing was it must have taken them hours to set this goddamn thing up. It must have taken them hours. And the match itself was 15 minutes. 15 minutes. There's a couple of problems that I had with this match. Mostly that like there was a side completely open, so very quickly people left the Punjabi prison, like left the cage, and I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to do that, but like also what else could they do? There were like 4 tag teams, and yeah, it was what you'd expect, but it was very funny to have like this giant, very elaborate setup, and then they had to take it down, and like they had a little saw to like take it down.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because it was all these like bamboo strips like interconnected on top of the ring. So it was at certain points in time, like the guys would like climb it, and like the minute they put a foot on that bamboo, it started like waving like crazy.
Is this the spring break show or
No, this was the clusterfuck.
no? This is a whole nother show.
So
Okay, hold on a
spring break is
second.
like 2 shows. It is spring break, and then the following night, the final GCW show of the collective is
Clusterfuck Forever is the show.
Clusterfuck Forever.
Oh my god.
So there's 2 matches there, that one and then the clusterfuck. And the clusterfuck is 88 people, sort of.
All right, I'm gonna. So, all right, hey, Triller, Mike Weber, please. I'm just showing clips here. Don't take me down. So, my God, everybody sign up for Triller Plus, please. It's a good value. So, in case you're curious, this is apparently no. I don't want notifications. I don't want notifications here. That's fine. This is it.
Yeah, there's Dom.
Dominic Greeny.
There's Dom, and there's one of the.
So there's the. Oh my
Yep.
God. That is amazing.
Why does this look better than any other indie cage match?
It does. And I did a big blue wooden cage one time.
I
Q.
really enjoy like the orange packing tape.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's at all the hinges there. So it's only 1 layer of Punjabi prison, by the way. If you're really kind of want the authenticity.
So it's
is that a tree at the top?
I think it's
What
double.
is happening there?
So Violence is Forever are the current reigning GCW tag champions,
What
and this
is-
was a challenge for
what is
it.
happening up here?
Um,
It's like a bird's nest.
like little, like bamboo, like sharpened things. I don't know. There were like bamboo sticks. There were There was a little saw. They came at each other with a saw.
Oh my God.
It was what you'd expect. Honestly, I don't know that it was really for me. Like, I have no problem with like hardcore deathmatch wrestling. I can get into it, but this one felt, I don't know, elaborate in a way that didn't feel necessary. And I didn't like the fact that they could leave the cage so easily. I felt like, hell, if you're going to make something out of bamboo, at least make them break out of it to get out of the cage.
They really put Juicy Fatu in this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Violence is Forever as tag champions. They were defending. Bollywood Boys were in it. And Fatu, and then what was the other team? I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who this other guy is here.
Because it was four tag, and that was the other thing. It was 4 tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
4
Mm-hmm.
tag teams in this match.
Listen, yeah, you didn't have to cut a 9-person Monsters Ball match in West Virginia last month
I mean,
I did.
I don't
That
remember
they didn't
having
even
to.
they
certainly.
didn't even give me all the names in advance. I was doing the chyrons like as they were coming out for like half of it. I'm like, wait, I thought this was 6 people. No, it's 9 now. What do you mean it's 9 people? You know, it's welcome to indie wrestling.
I mean, you got to watch the clusterfuck because I'm sure that it would have been that bad too because it's 88 people who are sometimes come out individually, and a lot of times they come out like as a trio, or they come out in like a tag, or like one guy comes out and like 10 seconds later another guy comes out. The clusterfuck doesn't like operate from any timing like rules, so it just shit happens and you roll with it. That's kind of the vibe. And so yeah, the whole night is those 2 matches.
I'm just clicking through this thing, and it's just madness on madness every time I stop on something. Like, I saw the clip where they just stopped for Spider Nate Webb. Oh, here's
Yeah.
the sexy Eddie holding his package and is absolutely completely naked. Yes,
completely naked.
Not showing this part.
I am so curious what like protection is there, because there's got to be something, right?
There's got to be a backup.
He's got to have at least like a pouch. We couldn't. You can
It's
see
IndyWrestling. It's
Yeah.
probably not a pouch. He's probably
Yeah, but it's Philadelphia. It's in like Pennsylvania. It's Philadelphia Athletic Commission. Like, I just can't imagine he didn't have anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, Penn's Landing Caterers is not like some like basement. It's,
I was hearing about this venue.
it's like a nice place. Like, it shares it shares the like land and parking lot with like this like steel fitters, like something like that, steel plater fitters or something. So like, it's a really nice venue, and it's got a huge parking lot and a really like efficient, like clearly like professional staff. So like, yeah, I can only imagine what these people were thinking, like watching this, because like I'm sure they have not had something like this.
It is like, and it, you know, the collective is just like wrestling on crack for like 3 days. Is it?
It certainly can. Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
because it's 4 shows on Thursday, 4 shows on Friday, and 3 shows on Saturday. There's always a morning show and there's always a late night show. So like, if you're like me and you're an idiot, you get the package tickets and you go to every single show. And by Saturday night, you're crying at 4 a.m. walking home from your car, just like completely confused as to where you are. Not in like direction wise, just like your life.
That's my first year experience. I ended up at the collective once for the last 3 matches of Black Label Pro on the last day, and then I had to help tear down. Okay, and this is after. God, is this after the first night of Mania? Probably. Yes, this is after the first night of Mania. I haven't slept much of anything. I think I was going on an hour of sleep at that point, because we had an 11 a.m. show at. I had to stay up until God knows when, because we had to give all of the footage and all of the cameras to Impact Wrestling before they left, and didn't get out there until 4. And I had an 11 a.m. show.
Oh Jesus!
Back at WrestleCon. So did that. Went to the first night of Mania. Then had to go do the go tear down, and I switched the last 3 shows of the collective.
I mean, if I could do like anything different over the weekend, it would have been, I wouldn't have left on Sunday. I would have left on Monday, and not really worried about WrestleMania, but more importantly, I would have been able to make it to Spark Jersey on Sunday, and I would have been able to, you know, like rest and not like drag myself on a like 5-hour road trip back to Pittsburgh after having had like 7 hours of sleep over a collected 3 days. Also, we watched shows late on Wednesday before we left on Thursday because we're dumbasses, and then we left Pittsburgh on Thursday at like 5 a.m. to get to the Defy show in Philly by 11.
Oh my God!
We made amazing time, and I drove, so like I feel real proud of myself. I drove us. We got there at 10:30, parked the car. We had a half an hour to spare before Defy started. And it was a great show. So, like, no regrets.
Of course, it was Defy. I watched the first hour of it, yeah.
Defy and Progress are probably the least attended of the collective shows.
That sucks.
And it's a shame.
Yeah.
Because, God, those are really good shows.
Yeah.
But you cannot, like, they are also at 11 a.m. and the Progress show was at 3 p.m. on Friday. It's just it's
tough. And when they're kind of the add-ons, right? And I always wonder, because like I think the magic of Defy is where they run and the crowd that they have, like, and you just took them out of water and put them on, you know, randomly on the East Coast. Who knows them over here and things like that. You know, it's just not going to have the same energy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things I like about the collective is that like I'm gonna see things are not just.
It's a sampler platter.
It's a sampler platter. Yeah. And I want to see shows from
nice.
Other promotions, because I'm not gonna say that this is a bad thing necessarily, but like, when they are GCW specific shows, they can be a little redundant with talent. You can see some of the same matchups over and over again, or like you can see some of the same people over and over again. When you get to go to one of the collective shows that isn't that, like Defy or DDT or TJPW, you are seeing talent you're not necessarily going to see over and over and over again, unless they're like doing a versus show.
Yeah,
which exactly. They did 2 of the versus shows. They did GCW and JCW versus the World on Thursday night at midnight. and then they did GCW versus TJPW on Saturday afternoon. And both shows were good, although the one on Thursday night was pretty rough because like it was definitely hodgepodge and it was definitely like really late.
Well, and I've seen this with other places where they do back-to-back shows, and there's not as much attention there's just too much bulk. And I don't think anybody. God, I've done back-to-back shows with promotions for years, and very, very big ones, and you can kind of tell, right? They're just like, we can't, you can't pay attention to both shows equally, or 3 shows or 4 shows or whatever your tour is for the weekend. And it's weird here in Indy's doing basically tours, but that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that because I definitely felt like my focus was like kind of starting to drift by like certainly by Saturday afternoon, but like even by Friday afternoon at the Progress show, I could tell like halfway through I was starting to lose a little steam and lose a little focus. And like suddenly main events weren't as important to me as like maybe getting a little extra time in between shows. And like Spring Break was on Friday night. It was the 8 p.m. show, and then 7. It started at 7 p.m., so it was an hour earlier, and it still didn't end until after 11. And then For the Culture was supposed to start at midnight. And so like they're going into the Joey Janela main event versus Blake Christian, and I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta go sit in my car. I have to take a break. And I'm glad I did because that main event went over 40 minutes. 40 fucking minutes. Joey Janela, 40 minutes. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Well, his name's on the marquee, literally. So
I get it, but like, who do you think you are? A 40-minute match.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Joey Janela hater, but like 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Come on. And there was a show at midnight, so it's like it's kind of disrespectful too because it's like you're gonna run real late, you're gonna run your crowd out of energy, and For the Culture is a special show.
Yes. Friends of Pretty Boy Smooth on there, and our friends, the main event were on there.
They were in the same match.
Yes, they were. I saw a little bit of the beginning of it.
Yeah, that match was a lot of fun. That one had probably the most some of the most energy on that card. It was a great card, but just hurt by the fact that like it's hard to sustain the crowd energy after midnight when you've already had them. Well, we had to sit through a 4+ hour show. I mean, Spring Break was fun, but like it was 4 hours. I don't want to sit through a 4-hour show unless the words are Wrestle Kingdom. Unless the name of it is Wrestle Kingdom, I don't want a 4-hour indie show. Nobody does.
Especially at this level, right? But so I made some different decisions. Well, first, do you recommend the Collective? This sounds like a thing where I'll do it once.
I absolutely recommend doing the package at least once, especially if you are just nuts and you like to go. I highly recommend it. But I think like next time around, I'll probably do like a hodgepodge. It depends on the city. Yeah. For me, it was nice because I didn't have to worry about getting anywhere. Yeah. People kept being like, make sure you have extra time in Philly. And like, there's always traffic. Yeah. And I didn't have to worry shit about that because it was just like, I'd park my car in the morning. I'd leave it there. My Airbnb was a 20-minute walk at most. And so if I had to go back to the Airbnb, I just walked. So like I could leave my car there the entire day at Penn's Landing. So like, that was great for me. I didn't have to worry about getting from show to show. I know I talked to lots of people who are stressed out trying to get to places on time. And it was like, that is a great part of like doing a package like that. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. But the downside is you're locked into kind of a schedule and you're seeing a lot of the same talent. And sometimes it can get a little redundant because you feel like you've seen some of this stuff before by the end of the weekend. So I think maybe next time, depending on the city, I would probably like just buy tickets to the big ones I wanted to. Plus, then I'm buying better tickets. I'm buying tickets that have chairs instead of gambling on that and just doing GA. So I do recommend doing it though. There's a lot, especially when they do the international shows. TJPW and DDT did some of the best shows of the weekend anywhere through Philly, not just for the Collective, but anywhere. That TJPW show on Friday morning was like some of the most fun I'd had. It was an hour and 45 minutes. Again, the Joshi just put on a concise, great show. You don't need 4 hours, Joey. You just need 1.5 to 2 hours of really good stuff. And they delivered. And it was great to see some of those women in America. Great to see some of these wrestlers I hadn't seen before. So yeah, highly recommend trying it. At least going to a collective show.
It is it's like, can I do the endurance race of wrestling watching, right? Which is also Mania weekend in general for a lot of things.
Sure.
So, I want to talk about my experience here a little bit, but first I want to give a shout out to our friends that are supporting the show. Our friends at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. You get a little bit of extra stuff. We BS'd for a while with Glenn Spector last week. Really got into things. Probably getting our goat in the wrestling industry. I can't remember where the Patreon conversation stopped and the rest of the conversation for the next 2 hours went going. Riz, I didn't leave until 2 a.m. and then I had to drive to Philly the next morning.
Did you realize I even left like halfway through?
No. I looked over and you were gone. I'm like, well, Riz is gone. We can take headphones off now. So I had my clusterfuck last Tuesday. No, I love Glenn. But anyways, part of that was on the Patreon feed. You can tell me what the hell we talked about if we're in trouble. So
nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything. No, nobody said anything. I'm sure it's on a chat room somewhere. But thank you to everybody that does support the show at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Our friends
on the new wrestling boards.
The friends at the fan of the show level, not the mad one anymore. It's post Patreon. At the fan level. Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Team Hammer Fist and the Tupac family, as well as our friends at the Poppy Club level, Dave, Prof Pod, Podner, spouse of Rooster Affair at roosteraffair.com, Rats in a Trench Coat, Tony Kincaid, Pizza Club level, Doc Remedy, The Riz, and Lance Fisher, and at the manager level, Bradley. You guys can support the show too at Wrestling Mayhem Show. So, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. So thank you everybody to support that. And we do have a feed. I think on Spotify you can subscribe to a Patreon feed via Patreon Spotify connections. I don't know how all that works. I try to set it up here and I think I did it right. Let me know if you're getting that stuff. So you'll get an audio version of that Patreon post show as well. So if I know Awesome Cast I screwed up last week, so that's okay. There's not as many people over there, and I don't think they listen. But anyways, so we just talk about whatever. It's just me and Katie hanging out after the show, and who knows if you're interested in me and Katie and I talking about our telemarketing days, you can go to the Patreon on Awesome Cast for $1 and go listen to that this week.
Oh my gosh, I'm so interested. I am, because I had telemarketing days too.
Oh, yeah. See, now we have to have a little bit of a get together.
I feel like you don't really like appreciate your professional career unless you've had to go through something like that. So
I do feel like it was a precursor to being able to do this. Because it's like being able to talk to people on the phone that you don't care was a lot of anxiety, and oh my God, what is this next person going to be? I think that sets you up for dealing with clients if you're working for yourself and things like that. Like somebody complimented me on how much like one promoter really just ran me down over something that was absolutely not my fault, and I just let him do it and took the blame and accepted the blame verbally with him. And then he said that I really fell on the sword for it. And I'm just like, yeah, because I wanted to fucking survive the show and get it done with. And we were an hour and a half before the show. I'm not going to go blow up on this guy and ruin the entire night for everybody.
No,
that's what you got. I mean, that's what you got to do. You know, you're just like, my job is to make sure the show fucking runs.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm in a director, producer capacity there. And if you're having problems with the promoter, you better fucking get over it real quick, or you need to leave and never do that again. And then also, you don't need to come back typically if you really don't like what happened. So there's a little tip for you guys working out there. But anyways, what the hell's going out there? I didn't even put the chat room up. Oh, I've been so bad with this tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. This is definitely the WrestleMania weekend hangover a little bit. There we go. There's some chat rooms going on. We'll get you guys involved here in a moment. But in the meantime, yeah, they're talking about like NXT and stuff. Telephone surveys was my first job as a teenager, says Teen in Seattle. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop that in the Mayhem. We'll see. No promises. Man, weekend takes planning and pacing and plenty of hydration, right, Riz?
Right.
Oh my God, so much hydration and protein. I had to explain to a lovely person I was traveling with what protein was, as far as like consuming sustainable proteins.
Cliff Bars, and thanks to WrestleMania, I got all these Prime packets.
Whoa!
That's not protein.
I
that's
don't know what
hydration.
it is. It's
That is
hydration. Oh,
hydration.
actually, I'm gonna need these this week when I'm sitting in a field in LA. So
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm gonna hold on to those.
How is Prime, by the way?
I
I've never had it.
no, I still haven't had it because they handed us those, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this?
I thought that was beef jerky. That's like Prime. What is it?
The first day we got C4, so it's like Gatorade.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my God! The people chanting for Gatorade and H2O and Powerade in the stands during the Logan Paul match was fantastic. But
We could hear it over the internet.
you-
We could hear it.
you couldn't hear it. You could hear it.
We could hear it.
Oh, good. Because I don't know where we were up. We were up the nosebleeds, which really, honestly, we were up in the top section on the end, and still it felt just as good as the seats I had on the lower bowl in Dallas. So, so there's that. And when you're up that high, you don't know if the chants are just up here, because the top bowl people are very interesting. You'll always hear
Sure.
like wacky chants up there that they're not getting on TV down there if you're in the lower bowl for arenas and things like that. So that's always very interesting. But anyways,
I'm always interested in like what is the type of fan that gets the like premium seats at WrestleMania?
man, apparently
Green shirt guy.
What's that?
Green shirt guy.
Green shirt guy. There you go. I mean, that's like.
Like, what does a seat like that cost? Like, if you're gonna get a really premium seat,
It's like $3,000.
Yeah.
But also it's like the priority. I kept seeing the signs for the priority and things like that, like the buses, because it's like the whole package with the hotel and that's when I'm doing all the. It's like you have your collective package. This is the
Yeah.
I'm doing everything. I'm gonna have the nice hotel and won't have to worry about anything, right? And
I'm going to the Hall of Fame. I'm going to all 4 nights.
Yeah.
All,
like if I had the money, I think I would try that at least. I would try that once because it sounds great and it sounds better than like being in like a roachy Airbnb in South Philly.
But also, like, if you don't travel often, it's like, I'm going to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You put down the bit for it. Just like you get the giant package when you go to Disney World, right?
Yeah.
Like, when I go to Disney World, we get a ticket for the day, and we have a hotel somewhere else at a Holiday Inn, and we probably got a flight from whatever work I was doing in town that week, right? So, like, that's different than, it's so expensive, you do this, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, it's not much more expensive than other theme parks I've been at, to be
Yeah.
quite honest. See, Disney World is not... Like, it can be. It absolutely
It can be.
But like the food's not that much more expensive or anything like that.
For me, it's the like add-on stress of like purchasing passes to be able to get onto rides. That is where the like money starts to like feel like it's
Yes,
this intimidating thing,
yes.
because it's like if I want to do anything today and not just do one thing but like do like multiple things, I have to pay for the privilege of doing so. And the fast passes used to be free, right? So like,
But even when I looked, they're like $30-some for the Genie Plus per service, so that's not bad. It was like $80-some add on at Hershey Parks for the fast.
I see
But-
all of this is gibberish to me because I
know
don't go anywhere.
So you go to the Genie, and then you go to the fast lane, and then Lightning lanes, and then it's different at everything, and they
See,
handle
I go
it
to
differently.
Idlewild and I ride one shinky ass coaster.
Yes.
And then I
you
go
go
and
to
hang out.
Idlewild. I don't even go to Kennywood.
I don't want to go to Hollywood anymore.
I go to
No.
Let's go to Dolly World. Let's all go to Dolly World
Oh my
because
God,
it is
100%.
splendid. Don't ride the ride that Noelle Foley got the concussion on.
Oh no.
I almost lost my dad's ashes necklace on it.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm just like, oh no, that was the scary point.
What's
of
the
that.
one that's in like middle of Pennsylvania, like Dutchland?
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Let's go there.
Like Dorney Park or something.
No, it's not
No.
Dorney Park. Dorney Park is different.
Okay.
No, it's literally called like Dutchland or something. And
Yeah.
my partner's gonna be very mad at me that I don't remember because he grew up like
We were
not far from there.
considering going to Knott Berry Farms on Monday because we have an extra day out in California to do something with.
Nice.
So
Yeah, at this point, I do want to go to any of the major level ones, the major like theme parks, because they all just come with like these extra price tags.
yes, yeah.
It's like hidden costs.
Well, see, for me, this should be the Patreon. We should be talking about
Sorry,
WrestleMania
yeah.
right now. But last moment, we'll move on. For me, the problem going to Disney World was always because I saw how stressed like Katie and other people would get because they're like, okay, get the passes, we gotta get the breakfast, we gotta get the dinner with Belle and the Beast kind of thing and stuff like that. And I'm just like, this sounds like a terrible experience, and I didn't want to go and just be frustrated. So it was good I had somebody to kind of hold my hand through the process.
Yeah, you need a Disney Sherpa. You do.
Disney Sherpa.
You do.
Yes, I love it.
Like my friend is goes to Disney 3 times a year. At this point, she is the Disney Sherpa. Like, she has told me, like, look, when you want to go and you want to take your kid, let me book it for you. Let me help you. I will make it all happen. All you have to do is just follow my instructions. Perfect. Great. Absolutely.
So let's run.
I found it.
Okay, Riz, real quick.
It's Dutch Wonderland.
Dutch Wonderland. Oh my God, let's go.
And I'm looking at this and I
Deathmatch at Dutch Wonderland.
kind of want to
Yes. New Fear City, get on it. Somebody tag them. Dutch Wonderland,
have
the
a-
best
they have a
amusement park
monorail?
for families. A monorail.
We got talking in the car on the way home from Philly that I don't know if you guys have ever gone down the major highway towards Florida and like passed by. There is on the border between North Carolina and South Carolina, there's a tourist attraction, a incredibly dated, stereotypical, pretty racist tourist attraction called South of the Border, which I was pretty sure was gone, and it's not gone apparently. Apparently it's still there. And I believe, and they have a convention center, they have rentable like convention halls and stuff. Please, someone run a wrestling show at South of the Border.
Is this it?
Yes.
Oh God.
Oh my.
Okay,
God.
yeah, it's very Mexican. It looks
Yeah,
like. So I'm not gonna go deeper in this.
No, their mascot is named Pedro. That's all you need to know about what happens there.
And it's in South Carolina. Okay,
Borderline.
Moving on.
Someone should run a wrestling show though.
So, and Tina's saying it was 2,000 to 3,000 between hotels and everything, and she's coming from Seattle. Between flights and everything, I think I got
2 to 3 actually doesn't sound that bad.
I don't think I spent terribly much on our tickets, but it was 3 of us, and we didn't get the combo pass for LA. I going to LA and everything. Plus, I was there for several days to do other things and hotels there. Like, I think I was like something like $2,000 for the trip overall. That I was trying to recoup with whatever work we were doing. So, but anyways, yeah. So the first year, like I kind of did the collective thing, but on the other end, because it was the Dallas WrestleCon and it was like AAA, the Memorial Show. New Japan and Impact and the Multiverse and the Throwback show that never got used because I think it just fell apart so bad, and the USA versus the World on Saturday morning. So again, that was an experience to do that on the production side. And thankfully I wasn't the director the whole time. We had people to switch out, and we had people coming in and out from the collective too, because the same person was kind of handling both parts.
Oh wow.
And I don't think he did anything, and he's probably doing sumo wrestling in New York, to be honest, at a fucking arena, but which is a wild direction. And then last year I mostly did Circle 6 that was that I didn't know was going to be outside behind a bar in Hollywood.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
That was last year, right?
Yeah, that was last year.
They were in like an alleyway. They were in like a parking lot.
Knuckleheads, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
I think they usually run out there.
I remember watching the feed and being like, "Where are they? Are they like behind? What are they in some parking lot behind a bar?"
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we were. It was interesting because the production was like upstairs, and like we had the entire upstairs and just wrestlers milling about or bleeding everywhere after the Clockwork Orange match. Thankfully, they got me to switch the last couple of shows, including that match. So again, obscene setup and all this stuff to set that thing up. Like they did the last show was like 3 death matches where they had like the Taipei thing, and there was another one. There's the bludgeon thing with the former Dr. Cube. I can't remember his name. I feel like that's something Riz would know. And Otis Koger and everything. It was freaking bonkers. And then I go and do the FTR podcast, which was something completely different and Miss Fomania. So this year it was like, we had the 880 show. We actually pulled the streaming on it because the venue was like, you have 1 hour to set up. And I'm like, how are you getting a ring up in that time? Kind of thing. So it's edited. It's going to be premiering Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on IndyWrestling.us YouTube. So, so Missy went to go film that with CL. I had the opportunity to actually do backstage interviews for Stardom, which I was in heaven. Japanese Japanese lady wrestlers, I'm in heaven. So
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
I don't think I mentioned, but like that was the one show that I did go to that
Yes.
wasn't a collective show because I skipped Bloodsport in order to go to Stardom.
Mm-hmm.
And between Penn's Landing Caterers and 2300 Arena was like a 20-minute walk. So it was really close by, and totally worth skipping Bloodsport for because that was a really great show.
And some interesting surprises. Toni Storm came out.
Toni Storm came out. Toni Storm came out, and not only was it a surprise that she was there and out, but like she had the belt. She was there on behalf of AEW, so like everything was like on the level there. It was fun for her to like kind of shout out to her connections to Stardom. That was really sweet. And then above and beyond, like she's holding this bouquet of flowers the whole time she's doing this promo, and like we're thinking like, okay, and she's going on about the person she's so proud of and it's come so far, and we're like, oh, it's gonna be a bait and switch. Like she's not gonna give it to Mariah. It's gonna be someone from like the back that she
It's
used
gonna
to
be
work with.
her.
It's gonna be
She's gonna give it
herself.
herself.
Yeah, it's
right?
gonna be
It's gonna be herself, or it's gonna be someone that she worked with when she was at Stardom. No, it was Mariah. It was actually a really sweet moment, and it set up a potential Forbidden Door match with Mariah's former Club Venus teammate, Mina Shirakawa. So like,
And they played it up a little bit the next night at ROH.
that's what I heard, and that is really cool. It's really cool.
There was a really good. I got to work with Emily May. If you ever see the promos before the American New Japan shows, also The Rock said hi to her or said good question or something on Saturday night at the press conference. So, but
Take that, that carried her through the weekend. I bet.
oh yeah,
boy. No, seriously. If Rock made eye contact with me, I would never shut up about it. So, like, I can only imagine. Good job, Em.
Yeah, yes. It was great to work with her again. It's been a little bit. God, I think it was last time there at the ECW Arena. I probably worked with that crew. So, and of course, Missy works with them all the freaking time. I didn't know Natty Neidhart was in the house. There's another. I don't know if the news is out there. I'll talk about it on Patreon. But there's another WWE champion that was in the house that I got to see in person
For Stardom?
at Stardom. Yes. Yes. But again, I haven't heard the news out there about it anywhere else, so I don't want to break that here. That'll be on Patreon.
That's exciting. I was
yeah.
hearing the dispatches from friends who were at Bloodsport about all the people who were in the audience at Bloodsport, and being like, I don't think the Stardom has that kind of star power. No, really.
there was a number of AEW people you did not see. That was there specifically for that segment.
Yeah.
I have and things like that. Obviously, I ran into RJ City there as a part of that too. Well,
yeah, because that's like his gimmick, right? Anyone paying attention to RJ City and the Timeless Tony Storm gimmick knows that it's like coming from like 90%.
You like basically, I confirmed everything I thought about how that works.
Yeah.
I was just because I did get the opportunity. Emily wanted to do a promo with Tony, and so they did something with Tony and Emily May. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on the Stardom. I believe it's on the Stardom Twitter that we did. And a black and white segment, the whole thing kind of deal. So it was a lot of fun. Actually, here it is as well. I'll put it in there. And again, it played off more of that storyline that was happening in the ring. So I'm really happy to see that. There's a wonderful moment where she hugs her. And then she goes,
rubs her hair.
And then there's a point here where she goes, "Let's go to the hot tub." Yes.
The thing that Toni Storm does with her face in these promos and just like in her entrance and everything, like she's doing great work all around, but like the little like twitches she's doing with her face are just so
subtle and great.
So subtle and clever and make it weird in the best possible way. It's so good. Kudos to Toni. It was a fantastic surprise. No one expected her to be there.
No, absolutely not.
No.
It was fantastic. But then in the long run, it makes sense considering the New Japan connection. They have Stardom people that are popping up on AEW ROH lately. So I keep it going. I love all this intermingling that's happening.
Oh yeah,
here.
we
So,
got
some great moments.
We got a fun run in on the TJPW show. Billy Starks had a match, and who was there to corner her? But Athena in the flesh. And it was so fun because it was like, holy shit, Athena's here. There's a fucking Athena. She's right there.
And that was that like Friday?
That was Friday morning.
So that was the morning of the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And so and not only was Athena there, like she wasn't just like in the crowd, like she was there and active as part of the match. Like she was present. It was really, really fun and unexpected.
That was great. It was fun. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about that segment on Patreon because I got some more bits on that. I attended Ring of Honor. Attended. What did we do? What is it? I was Joe Nebraska for 2 hours at WrestleCon. So that was fun. I keep forgetting his name. The guy that popped up with the Dalton Castle match that's been in wrestling. That they stole his Emmy. Paul something House. Stingray from Cobra Kai.
Paul Walter Hauser.
He rolls by. I see him roll by the Joe Dombrowski booth while I'm taking off. Joe had to go do the ECW shows, the ECW arena shows for Sunday because it was a Battleground or something like that. They had like 3 shows that day and he was on them. So I took over for a little bit. And he comes by. He's holding a big Andre the Giant, and Joe's got these like LJN Andre the Giants, like the shorter ones. And he just like comes. I see this guy come by holding the Andre. Wow. And he goes over and says hi to the Acclaimed. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Why does that guy look familiar? Oh shit, it's that guy. I've seen him in the movies. So I had a little bit of superstar moment there, but it was great talking to fans, and I talked to Joe a little bit afterwards. It's just like this guy runs up and there's like this box set of like I can't remember who's in it, probably like The Rock and Stone Cold, and it's from Attitude Era. He just runs up and his like wife's there holding the kid or whatever. He's just like, this is the one. This was my first figure. This is great. I wish I still had it. Oh my God, it's in the box, kind of thing, like that kind of thing. Here in the man, I remember having these. I had a British guy come over. It's like, yeah, we can't find these LJNs in the UK and stuff, and he bought like a whole stack of Hasbros and LJNs and things like that. It was really good. Just 2 hours of that was just great to see that.
Yeah.
So
I'm. This is the second time that I haven't been able to really go to WrestleCon. I went to a show at WrestleCon in 2019, but this year I didn't make it over there at all. Part of the issue is that like even just to walk the floor and like to be in the vending hall essentially, like you have to pay $20. So it's like,
is that all the tickets are?
Just be in the building, yeah. But like for me, it's like I'm gonna pay $20 to go in there and spend more money. I'm already broke.
You're doing better than Steel City Con, I believe. So I mean,
that's why I don't go there anyway.
But also parking is a bitch. I ended up paying $45 for 2 hours of parking.
Yes, the end.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I cannot stress this enough. Penn's Landing Caterers, giant parking lot, free parking all day. Left my car, did not ever have to move it. In Philadelphia, where parking is like both anarchy and policed really heavily. How does that work?
Yet seeing the most, yeah, absolutely. Like there was 2 things I bailed on because I was going to go to the Mini Mania, ended up dropping off Joe and be like, I ain't fucking finding parking. I've been going around for 20 minutes. People are parking in the middle of the street up here.
Yeah.
What are we even doing? And then if I park somewhere, I'm the one that's going to get towed probably, right?
Absolutely.
And then the next day, somebody ends up parking somewhere, and their car is about to go on a tow truck, and they just catch them in time. I'm like, what is up with this city? I have, here's the rant. I was going to say this for Patreon. Listen. My first 3 days in that city, I have never consistently ran into the rudest people ever. I go to New York City and Los Angeles and Chicago on the regular. The biggest fucking probably hardcore cities. Detroit I frequent, okay? And I've never had the experiences on the road, in person. I think this one dude was going to fight me over my long hair at my hotel in Fraser Township, okay? I'm carrying all my stuff in at the end of the night. I was like something long hair, and he's just like, "Is that?" And it was like, I'm like, "Dude, does this guy recognize me? Do I know this guy?" So I'm just kind of big smiling at him, and I keep going, because I'm like, I don't want to engage, I don't know who the fuck this is. And then like I'm going through the door, and I hear, "Is that a girl?" And I'm just like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
In 2024.
In 2024, when I was in high school, this was a regular thing.
Even that is too recent.
Yes.
This is ridiculous. People have had long hair for a really long time.
Yes.
This is not like the Johnson administration.
Well, I come from a very small time, so they were still in that kind of realm, and I got very nasty terms thrown at me for having my hair.
Drivers in Philadelphia, I will say, are the fucking quickest honks ever.
Oh,
If you drive around these parts, if you drive around Pittsburgh, like
stop signs are suggestions. It was just like, oh,
stop signs are suggestions, but also like if you are at a red light and it changes to green and you don't immediately move like it is Mario Kart and you are trying to get first place, you get honked at so hard.
Oh yeah.
If you even have a millisecond of a hesitation.
It was just so distressing. It was the most anxiety ridden thing. LA wasn't so bad. I'll drive LA any day. I'll drive New York City any day, and I will not do. Philadelphia was the worst, and it's the most time I spent in Philadelphia. Usually I pop in the arena and I'm out.
I had a really, really easy time of it because I was just going from point A to point B.
You had one place to go and you knew it.
One place to go, and everywhere else I walked, I was like, that is the key here. I do not want to have to drive. I told the guys, I'm like, I'm not moving the car unless I have to. I was like, absolutely have to. We move it in the morning and we move it at the very end of the night, and that is it. Parking at 4 in the morning is hard enough.
I feel like this city was not equipped for WrestleMania.
It was not equipped for that kind of crowd, but honestly, no. I heard that parking's terrible anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's always bad.
Yeah, I've never so viscerally disliked a city and would like to never go back. Than Philadelphia.
I love Philadelphia. I just think you have to do it in a way where you don't have to like stress out about those things.
The version I was going to go to the New Fear City party, and trying to go to those neighborhoods was the worst for things like that. Now to it, I did go to the New Fear City opening party. It was fun. It was like punk band wrestle match, and there was no room. Like literally, the fights were starting. I went over to talk to Kevin Gill, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta shut this band off." I was like, "All right," and then I was like, "Oh, we can't get in here," so I ended up parking on the other end. Sorry, 80 friends were hanging out there. No, it was a good time, and I'm threading the needle because Missy had to get delayed and ended up coming in 11:30 on Wednesday to Philadelphia instead of here. So I'm sitting there stuck in the back of the room. The last match is starting. The guy from DDT Mao, I think it is singing Wonderwall.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then which was glorious after all the punk and hardcore bands that were just on, and then I hear, of course, Wheatus. And I know I'm going to be here for at least another 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, because you might be there, and then you might, like they did at the Clusterfuck, you might have to hear it all over again because the Clusterfuck audience would not stop chanting until they played it again, and so they played it. They had the big entrance, and then they played it again. And during the first entrance, a guy who won me over this weekend, a GCW guy who, like, going into the weekend. GCW has a lot of talented wrestlers, but there is kind of a crew of wrestlers who are, while being very talented, I will say that they're very talented. They kind of all just look like guys to me. Like, they're just like, oh, that's that guy, and there's that other guy. And so one of the just that guys turned it around majorly for me this weekend, and it was this guy, Marcus Mathers, who is a really good wrestler.
Keep hearing his name, yeah.
Yeah, no, he had a great weekend, too. I think he did like 10 matches. He had a great weekend. But one of the ways he turned around for me, because I have stupid priorities, is you have never seen someone so excited to see a bubble gun. We had bubble guns. Me and my friend had bubble guns at Clusterfuck because we brought him to Big A Brunch, and they were such a hit that we were like, oh, well, fuck, we got to bring him to Clusterfuck. And we had him out during the Nate Webb entrance. Marcus Mathers' eyes, he looked like a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. He ran to me to borrow the bubble gun for the Nate Webb entrance. Yeah, you could see it on there. So, like, he is just fire. He asked me, like, oh, you just pull the trigger. I'm just, yeah, Marcus, you just pull the trigger. You just pull it. It's going to blow bubbles. Never seen anyone so excited for bubbles, and I'm like, okay, well, now you've just won me over because, like, I can't forget you or hate on you because you are so happy. I mean, look at him. He's so happy.
So happy for bubbles.
I can relate to that because the kids would randomly kids would have bubble guns at Disney, and I would just run through them.
People were so excited to see the bubbles.
Yes.
And he made a point of getting me the bubble gun back. So I was like, you win extra kudos for that, because a lot of wrestlers probably just would have, like, dropped it wherever or, like, put it somewhere and, like, forgot about it. Really excited though for bubble guns there. So from now on, when I go to any shows that I'm allowed to, I'm going to be bringing a bubble gun.
Yes.
Please bring one to 880. Please.
Oh, I could bring a whole bubble fan into 880.
Actually, yes, it's going to get warm in here in the summer.
Like, I know they're not going to let me bring one into like the upcoming, like, Enjoy show at Stage AE, but, like, I'll definitely have it at Taco Mania. I will have it at 880. Yeah.
Nice.
They might let you have it and enjoy.
Not at Stage AE.
No, at Stage AE won't let them in.
Oh, on Stage
Stage
AE.
Stage AE won't let them
Stage
in.
AE,
No,
like
no,
you're
no,
lucky
no.
if they let you like wear pants with pockets in
It's
anymore.
they're
true.
Yeah,
They're total
they're hardcore.
assholes.
Yes.
Mr. Smalls, they probably would let me bring it in.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Probably.
didn't realize they were gonna, like they switched, but
I
yeah.
get cleared through management. We could sneak it in for you, right? You know.
I will
mean,
just hand it to someone in the back. I'm sure if I went into the side entrance and been like, MV, please, can you just like put this bubble gun in
No,
there?
MV would have definitely let you have.
Just let me,
would've definitely stuck that
will you
in
do
there,
this one favor for me, please? Thank you. Runway, will you guys just carry this
It's
bubble gun
like
in?
coming in the WrestleMania. I saw them handing with the prohibited items list and kind of holding it up and reading it and pointing at things. And I was like, "There's like allowed items will be but definitee bubble guns."
Bubble.
So,
I mean,
yes.
bubble guns are just good for the whole family. They
Exactly.
don't make any mess.
Yes.
I was confusing this guy in front of us in one of the shows when I was using it because he kept like seeing the bubbles and like getting spooked and not knowing where they were coming from. So the minute he would like turn around, I put the bubble gun like where he couldn't see it because
Where did it go?
apparently I can't resist gaslighting a random stranger.
It must be WrestleMania weekend. I did attend the Ring of Honor show. I'm really glad I did.
Yeah,
I'm really glad. I was like, you know what, man, I gotta see Mark Briscoe win this thing. Like I had to be winning, and also then on top of that, the Billy Starks, God, why can't I remember, Amanada match, because Amanada is one that we filmed here in the area for a few things, or Warrior Wrestling, and then just again Billy Starks is just wonderful.
Yeah, that match is really good. I feel like I disagree with the booking on this, but like I don't want to deny Billy her flowers here.
But do you agree with her mother? Did you see the clip? I just learned who Mouse is thanks to this and Pretty Boy Smooth tweeting about it. So yes.
I think that the booking here leaves not a whole lot of room. Like, so Athena and Billy both have titles, and like that doesn't. I mean, yeah, there's places you go with it, but it's like, isn't it more interesting to have some tension there? Like, isn't it more interesting if there's one person chasing? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit to be desired from that booking as far as from a long-term storytelling angle, and they've been good with the long-term storytelling
Also,
with them.
they have like 4 pay-per-views a year, so I think there's a lot of like stretch out that's happening too, right?
Yes, but they've been doing a lot of story with the women's wrestling, with the women's roster, in just like their general shows.
Yes.
So like that actually isn't as big of a like the pay-per-view bird off matches are really good, but like I'm interested to see what they do with the story moving forward in the regular like week-to-week television.
Be very interested to see it, but it was definitely worthwhile. Even the Stardom, like you saw like the 6-person Stardom feature match, and you're just like, oh, this will just be whatever. It was so fun to watch, and I don't know if it comes off on TV the same way, but like watching them on the outside holding each other back and dancing and stomping each other and stuff was just wonderful. On top of
they're
things.
they're always gonna deliver. If that Stardom show, if the full Stardom show proved anything to me, it's that like anything that they do is going to be interesting.
Yes. I hope. And I need to ask this question of somebody in the know. I mean, like, when is Stardom going to get English commentary so I can subscribe to that and start watching it? Because it's so hard.
That's my big recommendation to people when it comes to TJPW. I'm like, they regularly
and I love that too. In Wrestle Universe, you get DDT and Noah on there as well.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is the best bargain.
Yes.
There is regularly shows with English commentary.
Yes.
They started doing that
Not
couple
always,
years ago.
but
No, not always. But the major shows almost always have English commentary, usually done by
they're
Chris.
English, which is an interesting vibe. You know, I'm going to watch Japanese wrestling with English accents.
It's usually Chris Brooks.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's usually Chris Brooks on English commentary for TJPW.
Okay.
Which is good because he also has a personality on the mic. So it's like you're getting commentary, but you're also like getting the Chris Brooks.
Yeah.
So like it's not without its like charms.
And now I'm connecting that. Now I've seen Chris because Chris Brooks was the one that was at the New Fair City show.
Was he there too?
Yeah,
yes.
because he was reunited with Mouse or
Yeah.
something, right? So yeah.
Yes, because he's a DDT wrestler.
Yeah.
He's like full time on their roster.
So we're about an hour in, and we haven't even talked about WrestleMania itself. So first of all, I'm going to remind you, we got a lot of stuff coming up here. Again, 880 Takes 215 is premiering 7 p.m. on IndyWrestling.us YouTube page. It'll be on shortly after on the network. We're sorting some things out with the network right now for extra content. And just unloading and stuff is a thing. So logistics, friends. But we also, it's a big week here. Of course, Thursday Night Fights will return live. I will be in California, but the missus will be directing all 3 shows happening this weekend, including 880. God, too many numbers. 880's Thursday Night Fights here on Thursday night, free everywhere. And of course, Prospect Pro Wrestling returns with, I think, Full Control. I think Lebanon Dawn took over after the last show. Beastman ate somebody's beard. It's crazy over there. I'm kind of okay I'm not going to be around at this point. But you guys can see it in the safety of your homes on Indie Wrestling Network. Of course, there should be, we usually do the first match for free over there with 2PW. And then, of course, VCW usually has a pre-show on Sunday. Is Sweet Victory at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm still working on the time zones on that one for California. So a lot of content. And then next week, the Sandman comes back to Renegade Wrestling Alliance for what this is. I think it's Spring Fling this month, right?
Spring Fling.
Yes.
Yep.
I know it's the same every year, right? So, have a Spring Fling with the Sandman next week in West Newton.
Okay.
That's not the sound I expected. So,
I mean,
well, we're going to take a real quick look at what's been going on over there in VCW, and then we'll be right back after this, and we're going to talk some WrestleManias.
Paulie Kilpis will have to remove 3 dresses, whereas the Crew of Blood only have to remove 1. And I want to know, how do they rate on a fashion perspective? Captain Decapitate, how are you rating this ensemble?
I know he would be proud. Look at that! He hugs with sincerity.
He took him into his home, trained him. Kilpis just removed a hot dog from his undergarments. And I know, betrayed Paulie Kilpis to join the Crew of Blood. Decapitate, don't call him Captain Crunch in green. He was willing to do it because...
Really proving to be a major factor here.
What a mind.
Oh, big clothesline. Than anything else in this matchup.
He can hug with shooter Gannon Green showing.
The corseting unwound by John Paul.
Was on the side of the Crew of Blood.
Oh.
Now a meeting of the minds.
Close to bear.
Big ol' hug for Captain Crunch himself. A moral victory for Paulie Kilpis. Coming from not just one monster, some of the biggest and the baddest. We've seen
Dynamic to this Monsters Ball match.
the velvet voice of Marcus Scott. God, all 6'9", just got swing and a miss. Oh! We're in the midst of the fans.
Oh! Look out! Look out! Oh no! Roper coming charging! Oh!
Let's be clear, in Death Drop.
What the hell?
Hey,
gonna fly!
He's electric! Boogie, woogie, woogie!
No CFR able to get out. Biggins!
Defense leaving his opponent Cataton. Lowrider can be the final girl.
Competitors taking it in this way.
Comes Oprah indeed.
Oh, big. No way, no way!
A victim.
Big spear to Jimmy Shane.
For the second time, flying high. Thunderbird shook the heavens today.
actually talk WrestleMania an hour into the show. Woo! Emily Fear is here.
I'll tell you right now, I have nothing to
That's
contribute.
why we talk collective for the first hour.
I'm just gonna take a nap.
Yeah, it is, and it's absolutely okay to go to Mania Week and not even go to WrestleMania.
Not go to WrestleMania, not watch WrestleMania with anybody. Like, we had this big break between the TJPW versus GCW show and the clusterfuck.
Yeah.
With hours and hours. Lots of people used it to, like, go to a hotel room and watch WrestleMania, or go to a bar and watch WrestleMania. You know what I did? I went and got dinner. I hung out with friends. Did not watch a second of WrestleMania. Haven't watched any of it. I watched maybe some GIFs and some clips. That's it.
Well, while you were doing that, and I was doing what I was doing and freezing my butt off on Saturday night, the Riz was here in the studio hosting the Sorgatron Media Wrestling WrestleMania a watch party.
You had a party while Dad was away.
Yes,
WrestleMania.
We trial ran this at for Royal Rumble, and the worst thing that happened was there was some pizza that was left back there for 3 days.
I did hear about that. Yeah,
everybody heard about
Yeah.
that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, calcified pizza. Yeah, people are gonna hear about that.
Yep, it was
Is
still
that
there.
where the White
Wait,
Claw
was
got
that-
left in there?
No.
No.
That was we're unsure if the White Claw was left from last week, but I want to know what psychopath left an open White Claw in the back of my fridge last week, and there's about 5 suspects right now. This is not one of them.
We're gonna
I'm
make a
not one of
suspect
them.
board. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, hold the red string. Get
Or
all the
maybe
red
it is
string.
Parker.
With what?
Or maybe it is.
Maybe it
Maybe
was.
But he did leave me a present of a Zoa.
Yes.
Let me tell you about Zoa. Let me tell you about the free
It was
shit.
a sponsorship of
Let me tell you
Zoa.
about the free shit at WrestleMania.
Hey, Rock, get with us,
For
please.
free
This is-
Rock. Yo, Rocky.
Wayne.
Hey, Emily May, get me Rocky's number. I know you read it in the gleam of his eyes at the press conference on Saturday.
That's how it works. When the Rock makes eye contact with you, he just immediately beams his number into your.
It's
into
like
your
Bump
Yes.
back in the day. I'm sorry, this is the wrong show to be referencing Bump. Not the Bump. Not the Bump. I'm talking about
not
the app.
Bump with Matt Camp.
Look it up,
No.
kids. I think Apple bought them, and that's on the new iPhone. Anyways, so
WrestleMania.
let me talk about drinks.
WrestleMania.
Hey, I
night
go
one.
over, and all I got are these Prime sticks. They're
So
everywhere.
is
put
sadly
that,
not-
put that prime in that.
It's
Zoa
sadly
All
not
right
beef
now.
jerky.
Not beef jerky. You've determined not beef jerky. So I'm going to be using those this week because I'm going to need to hydrate because I'll be in the sun for 3 days.
WrestleMania night one.
No, WrestleMania
Night
Night
one.
1 is when we got free C4 drinks.
Let's go.
Tell me all about it, friends, because I don't know anything. I heard there
a
was
Zoa bus with that says Big Dwayne Energy, and his face on it was blocking my traffic trying to find a parking spot.
Dwaynergy?
Big Dwayne
Dwayne
Energy with
Energy.
the D is highlighted.
BD.
Big Dwayne
Uh-huh.
Energy.
Dwayne.
Hold on, do I need to pull
Big
up the picture?
Dwayne energy, like Dwayne from a different world.
Yes.
Something like
Definitely not sexual at all.
not with the Rock.
Not, well,
He's definitely going somewhere with it. There you go. Big Dwayne Energy. And I was like, at first I was mad, and then I'm stuck in traffic, end up
oh
beside
my
the
God.
bus.
He's blocking the Wayne, so it's just D.
Yeah.
Yes.
Packing some serious Big D energy.
Yes. And then there you go. Get your hands on our Big Dwayne Energy. Yes. But they did run up
That's
and
a
give us
euphemism.
some cans. That
Yeah.
got me home on Saturday night. Was that Zoa, by the way? Then you walk in and there was like the stage, the big stage where CM Punk and everybody's talking shit, and other side is like a Prime tent and C4 tent, and we got C4 the first night. So that got us through the night and kept us warm. Sure.
It's energy. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Uh,
Energy drinks like that would probably
Have to pee.
keep you nice
Yeah, absolutely.
It was the longer night and the quarter night.
because it was 46 degrees
so.
with no.
Yeah,
it
they
was
kept
50
showing us
it
the
was
fucking
50
weather.
degrees.
Thanks
Oh,
for
they
that.
showed it on the
Why
on the
would
big
they
screen.
do that?
Yeah, when they were showing you the weather, they were showing us the weather, and I'm like, stop reminding us how fucking cold it is.
Yeah, no, seriously, they should. That's the last thing you want to be reminded of.
Yeah. It was like,
It's,
I think it was to let people know at home, is like if it's quiet because everybody's freezing.
Oh yeah, Michael. Every time it showed, Michael Cole kept saying, "It's like just became meteorologist Michael the entire night." And then they showed Michael Cole like halfway through the night one. He's bundled up with a little.
He's
beanie
wearing
on
a
his head.
hat. He's wearing the
Yeah.
beanie hat. Like they did a shot on him. I caught on the one screen. I'm just like, what the fuck is on his head? You know?
Like,
so
no.
So
like,
we had
absolutely not. Could not do that.
We were up there. But you know, honestly, this did not feel any further away than the lower bowl at AT&T Stadium, or we were like kind of like over there on the other side of the stage for last year. And honestly, last year was a little chilly too. So, you know, it's
always cold.
The worst part was the wind. I was not nearly as miserable as 29. In 29, I was up in the bowl and I was absolutely miserable. I think I got sick afterwards. I was really worried about here, considering I had a big.
I think it snowed 2019.
It very well might have.
I think it did when they were in like New York area.
Yes.
Because I remember being on the train on the way back from New York City and being like seeing some snowflakes and being like, shit, they're gonna sit in that.
Yep.
And like a day or two before it had been like 60 degrees.
Every time the Undertaker came out, and I'm glad he won, so he got the fire up there because I was up above the stage.
There you go. Yeah, you're getting that nice little Undertaker heat. Literal
want
heat.
that Undertaker heat, baby. Literal heat. It was
make him the crematorium.
I want to point out this too. So I mentioned New Fair City a lot. They're Casanova Valentine, of course, doing a death match. Kind of the main guy there. Doing death match in a skate park the day before on Friday, and then on WrestleMania Sunday. Oh hey, who's this guy? Who's this Celtic guy over here? Look at that. Deathmatch guy at WrestleMania. That's the news story there. Holy shit. You never know. You never know who's going to show up. So
I love that. It's one of my favorite things. I still think of when they had Dan Barry out as like one of the security guards for Dominic Mysterio.
First time I met Dan Barry, I embarrassed myself in front of Dan Barry.
Ooh, what you
I think
do?
I was talking to Seth at High Spots, and it was in Dallas. I was there. And something. Dan Barry's going to do this. I'm like, cool. Who's Dan Barry? He's like, this Dan Barry. I'm like, oh, hello, Dan Barry. I had no fucking idea who he was. I don't know the lore.
To be honest,
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go on a limb here and guess that it's probably not the first or last time that has happened to Dan Barry.
And I'm just like, okay, who's this guy? I need to know. I'm like you said his full name in front of him, so I didn't think that was him.
It is Dan Barry.
I didn't know that's the thing. I'm not in this. This was my first big show. Okay.
You don't have to defend yourself.
Yes.
I guarantee you it happens to him all the time.
I think I had just started doing Warrior, and I've done Impact a couple of, so I don't know this circle. I don't know the High Spots lore, okay? The whatever this is. So I'm still learning. I think I apologized to him a year later on Twitter. So,
you'd be like, sure.
Yes.
He's probably like, sure.
I don't know. He had like maybe an AEW spot or something, and that was a thing. So.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I mean, he pops up in places, but yeah, like I remember that. So I love when WrestleMania or when the big wrestling show, like big WWE shows, like incorporate wrestlers into the into their like big gimmick entrances.
So high spots that I saw, just flipping through Twitter, waiting in between the cold breezes. First of all, there's the guy that deep-throated a Slim Jim. Oh, nope, no, not there.
Oh, yeah, that was
a fun spot.
I didn't even notice the camera guy.
The camera guy's like, oh,
no. I thought that was a bit of a move. And also, I love this one.
That is amazing.
That was like,
amazing.
Hold on, this load. It was from earlier. It was like Drew McIntyre sitting back, bored at work, and then later, fuck. After the match.
My God.
Oh my God.
Drew McIntyre, when I was last here, it was last on the Mayhem show, it was right after CM Punk got injured and Drew McIntyre was doing like the work of his career on social media, just like mocking CM Punk. And that, I saw that earlier. I was like, oh man, Drew McIntyre's just having so much fun with this. Just absolutely having a ton of fun.
And I will share once again my favorite Twitter account. The person who photoshops is Paddington the Bear into movies
every day until I forget.
Yes, with this Rock and John Cena stare down.
This is day 1,125 for Paddington. That's amazing. I've never committed.
And that was yesterday.
I've never committed to anything like this person is committed.
That's almost a Roman Reigns title reign.
That is almost a Roman Reigns title reign.
But anyways, so it was, and I know some people said that the first night was a little down. Like I didn't feel that in the arena on things.
So the first night I think the first night felt like that because it's supposed to feel like that. The first night's not supposed to be the best night of the night. It's supposed to set up for night 2.
It sets the stage.
It's supposed to like be the snowball effect.
And also give you a little bit of doubt. It's like, oh man, Gunther lost his streak. They're not doing that twice this weekend, are they? Right? That kind of thing, right? You had the down note of The Rock winning. You had Rhea going over at the beginning. With a very sick Becky Lynch, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Becky. I mean,
She was sick.
yeah, she had
103 temperature and strep throat.
Jesus Christ, and she
Yes.
was wrestling.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
you don't miss WrestleMania. I think.
Guess
Yeah.
not.
I mean, during that time,
I've heard of that. I've heard of Bret Hart doing the same thing. So
Yeah, back in a day and age where like we not that we didn't understand sickness then, but it's like we really should not be advocating for employees
No,
to
no,
be
no.
like
No.
getting each other like deathly ill.
Yeah. So, and again, I would say Becky Lynch is probably in better condition than most of us to handle something like that.
Sure.
So we'll take that into account too.
And show adrenaline kicks in. Like she's
Absolutely.
probably like hopped up
And
on like
she
every med that she could.
She probably doesn't have to do anything for a while, right? Like she's not on Raw. She's not doing anything. Maybe she's doing a book tour that they're probably canceled by now because of illness.
I should
know.
sure effing hope so. She's someone's mom. Let her go rest.
But also,
Yeah,
if she's
I
somebody's
think-
mom, and that's a payday. That's a big payday. That makes the year the Mania payday, from what I understand.
She'll get her money. She'll get her bank. Like
That's right.
let mom go rest now.
I think both mom and dad are probably going to take a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Seth is still relatively on the mend
Seth-
too.
Oh, did you see Seth at the end?
Well,
Like, they actually had to help him. Like,
yeah.
no, he couldn't
Okay.
walk at all.
That wasn't just like part of the work.
I don't
No.
believe anything. But also, if it's in front of a camera, I don't believe anything.
If it's in front of a camera, yeah, same way,
It's-
same thing.
Side note: the Billy Starks thing,
Uh-huh.
I thought is a very good sell because they started going to the commentary. I noticed on the
Gr-
camera. For that.
Great sell. We were one of the people I was with at spring break was watching it on his phone because wrestling nerds will not be stopped by being at a literal fucking wrestling show while it's
Nope.
happening. They will
Nope.
pull another wrestling show up on their phone and watch
Yep.
two at once because they're
Sorg, what were we
insane.
watching? Like,
But I clocked it right away. I was like, they're showing too much on the camera.
yeah, what were we watching
They're
at an
showing too much.
880 show one time?
Oh God, I think we pulled
were
up.
watching
We pulled up the WrestleMania press conference.
Yep,
Yeah.
during the setup of the show.
I think we threw up another show that seemed to be competing with us at the time too.
I am proud to say that I rarely bring my phone out at shows at all for any reason, but especially not. I have never watched another pro wrestling show while at a.
I have
wrestling
watched
show.
the pro wrestling show. I am at the pro wrestling show.
That is what I have watched. Because
I rewatched the Becky Lynch introduction at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania.
By the way, the CGI during that like first few matches when they had CGI. Ew. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's just a minor part to it, but
They had CGI.
the book was really like
Yeah, they in the promo, like they have her talking stuff, and they would go these things there with the CGI of the book with lines from it, and that she's reading out loud, and it turns the page. But it's like it's that overlay inset over the crowd because they went to it, and I'm watching it on the screen from like a mile away. I'm just like, that's live,
Yeah.
Like they cut away to that. So they're and this is the part. And here's the video geek in me. We've been talking about all these interesting shots and everything that's been happening on Raw lately. These follow threes, these follow outs out of the thing. They did it twice at least at WrestleMania. The Rhea attack last night on Raw. Triple H actually spoke to that and gave the name of the new guy, Lee something. So I presume he's the new Kevin Dunn. And he's talking about the collaborative nature, and they're trying different things. I remember there's one shot. I can't remember if it was WrestleMania or SmackDown that I was watching, and they did a thing where the guy just kept going around the ring, shooting into the ring in the middle of the match, and kept going. right? I'm just like, this looks like something. This looks like it's something that's relatively working, but it looks like something a shitty, an overextended indie promotion production team would be trying out. So so you're seeing a lot of that stuff, and we talk about the kind of the production things, working and not working. Like he was like, we're gonna try stuff, and we'll try it once, and maybe it won't work, and we won't try it again. It was like, good. That's how you get better, right? Like, I love that. I bet they learned something this week when they're like, oh, hey, we shrunk the set on Raw and SmackDown, and then we wanted to show Cody a video and realized there's no screen, so we're going to bootleg this fucking screen out here ringside. Yep. Somebody made a note about, and I bet you Raw's going to look slightly different next week. So, there it's a,
I do like the set though.
It's it's a Triple H era. It's a Triple H era, baby.
It's the Paul, Sorg.
It's the Paultron.
It's the Paul Levesque area.
The Paul Levesque era. Excuse me. Lee Fitting, who came over from ESPN in the chat. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you for that. So no, I mean, there's new vibes, and that was another thing from the weekend. Listen to Paul Heyman, putting over Triple H, talking about everything else. Like there was a lot of just observance of what has happened. And I think the most poignant things about what has happened the last couple of years with certain people came out this weekend, right? Because they said, did you see the Paul Heyman speech by chance?
Nope.
To summarize it, he said, when this company and these people needed a leader going through tough times, Triple H stood up and did it, and is giving more people a chance to get into the main event than ever before, and giving people a chance to flourish and making this fun again. Things that we've kind of observed on the outside basically got confirmed by Paul.
I mean, absolutely. There has been such turnaround as far as like the freshness of matches. There are more people coming up from NXT in a more like fluid fashion than there were before.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not just seeing an influx of talent, you're seeing them being utilized in a way that like doesn't make you fearful of having someone move up from NXT to the main roster anymore. It used to be like a death sentence for a lot of guys. Because it was like, oh, well, you're going to go to main roster and then you're going to get missed. But
or we're going to give you a mask.
Yeah.
Or we're going to give you a mask. We're going to change your name.
Or we're going to change
You're now
going to
be T-Bar. It's fine.
Yeah. What did they rename when they had Keith Lee? What did they?
Bearcat.
Didn't they?
Bearcat.
Sorry, Keith Hott.
Right.
and then they were going to turn Adam Cole bald and have him manage. Was it Keith Lee? He was going to manage too.
Wow. He would become Abraham Washington, wasn't it?
Abraham Washington.
My man. That was a day. But anyways,
exactly.
Yeah, it's tremendous, and that got reiterated. I actually highly recommend listening to Triple H talk about things at the press conference, because I think it opens a lot of what's going on there. And nobody came at him about stuff going on, because I really think they got in front of it. They're like, listen, this was crazy, and we're breaking all records, and this is the vibe now, guys. So now, and I'm curious Matt Carlin's kind of view on this, because I was waiting for one guy to spoil the glow on Sunday night, honestly, and be like,
where's Matt?
Hey, where's Vince? Kind of bullshit or something like that, right?
We on Sunday when Stephanie came out and mentioned that 40 years ago she was there, and we were like, who took you there? who got you there? But how'd you get to there 40 years ago?
She took the train by herself in mid 1980s New York City, because that was safe for an 8-year-old.
Wait. Yeah. You think her dad was with her as a child going to WrestleMania? She had a fucking nanny, okay? Or she had like a babysitter.
Probably mom.
Or it's probably mom. It's probably mom or like a relative. It was not dad who was with her. He wasn't being like, okay, we're gonna go get some pizza and then go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, actually, he was managing Liberace. But no, I just such great moments. Sammy winning was a great moment. That's two. And somebody pointed out this is the second consecutive year ending some of the longest reigns in titles. So that's very cool. He's the streak killer at this point.
This is the second consecutive year winning a belt at WrestleMania, right?
Right.
Main event last year with the Usos.
On night one.
Yes, on night one. Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, that was the best match of the both nights, I think. Period. I mean, the main event for night 2, yes, it was memorable in all of the glorious cluster ways that it was, but for pure match, the Sammy and Gunther match, where it was just story-driven, epic, early Generico-like.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No wonder
it kind of brings it back to
where he got it from.
It brings it back to Sami Zayn Claudio on the first NXT arrival, right?
Yes.
Yes. That was great. The tag match was I think a lot of what it needed to be for that first night. That second night, Bailey was tremendous.
Yes.
God, what did they start the show with? I shared a picture. I shared this picture. Let me see if I can bring it up here. But when the CM Punk Damian Priest cash-in happened, there was a wonderful thing that happened that I shared on Twitter. I think only the live audience from a certain angle was going to be able to catch this thing, and I'm really, really hoping that I catch this right here. So, whoever was smart enough on the Tron, because there's a different view. We had the end zone video, and then you had the Tron, and one, I think the end zone for the most part was the feed you guys were getting at home, and then we get a different, like there's usually a different switcher on the Tron in the studio or in the arena, right? So this shot happened where they left one of the hard cams on CM Punk sitting there, and he's applauding and smiling, and on the camera, on the big screen, you see Damian Priest and the Judgment Day celebrating, and I kept just taking pictures because it was wonderful. Then you just get Drew and him laughing. Hey, this is the best. This is the best thing.
This
is where I'm just like, I'm in the best spot for this moment right now.
This set up for WrestleMania 41 right here.
Oh my God, yes.
Just this image.
Honestly, I think it's going to be Clash at the Castle or SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
But yeah,
I mean, provided we don't know how long Punk is out, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So I mean, maybe they give it till WrestleMania, the next WrestleMania, just because Punk needs that much time. Or how they do SummerSlam and he gets injured again.
Another great one, and this shouldn't be a surprise for people that -1 and Amanda Brody Lee's wife was at WrestleMania, considering all the connections there, and they've been very there's a lot of AEW people at the Hall of Fame, backstage at Mania. This just happens. It's just people are connected, people are married.
Sure, there were pictures of the Bucks with
absolutely
with Cody beforehand. Everybody knows each other. You know how wrestling works. Everybody knows each other. You might work for different companies and not be able to be photographed with each other on a regular basis, but you know each other.
You can go hide in a suite and whatever, right? But I love this thing. I love this tweet. It's one of my favorite things from the weekend. That's a quote from -1 that Amanda posted. It says, "When I start wrestling, this is what I want to see. All the fireflies for Dada and Uncle Bray. I'm telling you now, Mama, this is what I want." All the feels, and then it didn't stop
see, you
there.
guys, you don't have kids, so you don't I'm not saying that you don't understand how this feels. You definitely do on some level, but I'm so weak now, as a mom, because I see something like that, I'm just like, oh fuck, I gotta go cry for a half hour. Yeah.
No, that was the end of the main event. Yeah. The wildest main event.
Oh my goodness.
The Avengers Assemble on your left main event.
Oh boy.
Woof. Woof.
I mean, we all knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And it still was.
Wait, I don't know.
Crazy.
We didn't know how deep this would go, right? I mean, we knew Brock's getting involved, Seth's getting involved. Hell, at one point they had me going so much, I thought, man, is Moxley coming back for a night? When they popped the shield up, it felt like something they could pull off, right? I feel like there is a world where you give Tony enough money that you can
Moxley
shows up for WrestleMania
Are you
to close the
kidding?
story.
Are you kidding me?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't even have to give him that much money.
Listen.
All you'd have to do is be like, Tony, think of the story. Think of it. Think of this extended story. Tony is beyond just a wealthy benefactor of a wrestling company. He is a giant fucking fanboy.
Absolutely.
And if you appealed to that specific part of him,
Yes.
there's no way he could have said no.
Yes.
He would have made a good chunk of money off of it, but he would have done it.
And if he doesn't make a chunk of money off of it, you're one of your top guys and established guys for the last 5 years, shows up for one night on WrestleMania and disappears. People are going to like, where'd he go?
One night.
There's AEW? You know?
One night.
Yes.
One night. That's all it would have
Finish the story.
Finish the Shield.
Yes.
Finish the story. Continue the Shield forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the most telling of the surprise people that came out was the Seth one.
Mm-hmm.
Was the deepest cut out of everything,
Mm-hmm.
because he came out as Shield Seth,
Yeah.
and like it didn't dawn on me until afterwards, because then I saw like a synopsis of it. I'm like, oh gosh, that's right. Seth dressing up as the Shield, as him in the Shield, sparked Roman Reigns to turn his attention to him, and he was the Shield in that match, like he said he was going to be. And it was like, holy shit.
And he got to the one tweet further explained it as like he got to make amends for what he did.
Yes.
To the Shield and Roman. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it's deep.
Like, and then you have the whole thing coming back. You know, you like Solo's out there, and I'm just sitting there. It's like, fucking Cena's coming out, isn't he? Because that was the last match, right? And then Taker, because Taker in Rock have history, so it was amazing. And of course, Cody winning. And I was wondering how late this thing was going, if you guys were seeing it all at home, but it kind of confirmed with the fireworks. And man, that was a cry. That was a cry. That was a rough one. So
they did something, like I remember watching the whole after party scenario, and they did that zoom out where it showed where it began in the ring, and then it zoomed out so that top of the jumbotron is shown, and I'm like, is somebody coming out? And then they can't come back, and it's like, oh, they got me. Like they got me. That was going to be like something big happening there.
Yep.
But they didn't really need it. It's WrestleMania.
Absolutely. So, anyways, let's thank our friends Slice on Broadway. They gave us so much pizza tonight. Take some home with you.
I came in here and there's like so many boxes. I was like, what were you doing? It was
they
just
misheard the salad for a pizza.
It was just
for
you
the third
and one other
one.
person. I'm like, why is there 3 boxes of pizza for 2 people?
Yeah, Riz, come over and get some pizza. Come on over.
Riz, come get
on
some
over.
pizza.
I already had pizza from there like
2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah, 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
Oh,
Oh,
much
but that might as
pizza.
well have been last week. Come on.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, especially the way
We had the buffalo chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I know
I
I lied. We had the chicken, bacon chicken, chicken bacon ranch.
See, I had pizza for lunch, and I also had dinner, and I still had a piece of pizza.
There you go.
Because
There you
I
go.
couldn't resist. It's
You're good.
delicious.
And we also had the Goomba pizza, which is amazing. By the way.
Oh, their specialty pizzas are tremendous down there.
Yes.
I need to know more.
Yes, hit those up. But check them out, sliceonbroadway.com, and multiple locations here in the Pittsburgh area. Time to find out, what did we learn from wrestling this week? What did you learn about surviving the collective, for instance? First, how do you survive the collective?
Hydrate and eat as much as you can. Like really, like take breaks for food. Use your breaks wisely. I had a car, so I sat in my car and like relaxed, put the seat back. So that, but yeah, I think I learned that I'm too old for 11 wrestling shows in 3 days. I also learned that I need to watch where I fucking step when I'm traveling with certain people, because I kept knocking into Faygo cans like every fucking
what
where.
is this? I saw the graphic.
I was traveling with my two buddies, Laz and Don, who a lot of people know because Don goes everywhere and knows everyone in wrestling. And I won't name names, although I think it's in the graphic you saw. One of the people I was traveling with, big fan of Orange Fago, not a huge fan of finishing his can and throwing it away. Literally everywhere I stepped, there was a can. And it was like...
At least they didn't leave it open in the back of the fridge.
I'm surprised they didn't. At one point, we were all standing outside of my car, like by the trunk, and people are getting stuff out of it. And at some point, Don decides to put the Fago can down on the ground in the parking lot, like right in front of the trunk area. And I stepped right into it. And he's like, my Fago. And I was like, oh, why would you put it right there all day long? It was like that Simpsons gag with Sideshow Bob and the Rakes all weekend. All weekend, it was me and the fucking Fago cans. It was my death match all weekend long.
Oh.
The Fago can death match.
I need to take you to the gathering.
Oh my God, no.
To get you over your fears.
No.
How are you with clowns?
No, I'm actually not too bad with clowns.
Okay, no, good.
I really am not. I'm not.
There's wrestling.
Well,
There's wrestling.
Cole Cabana will probably be there.
well, I do like Cole Cabana.
There you go.
Is it
Evil Cole Cabana.
Is it going to be like the kind of grind that I had for the last couple of days because I'm still recovering?
It doesn't need to be.
Okay.
Get a hotel.
Yeah, so I think my major thing I learned this week.
I
is
already booked the hotel just in case I go.
I affirmed two things this week. I affirmed that it's fine to go to WrestleMania weekend and not have any interest in WrestleMania itself. I wasn't even calling it WrestleMania weekend. I was calling it big wrestle weekend in Philly or big Philly wrestle weekend. And also that I'm probably too old to do that exact type of thing again.
I think if you temper it a little bit, like I want to do this, like I think about, it was like we did 5 shows. We did the Kaiju, ROH, Ring of New. Well, Missy did 4, and I don't think she can do any more than that. And that we were on the line for her. So yeah,
I think I would definitely not do both nighttime shows. I'm not saying I would skip the midnight shows. I just might skip the like 7 or 8 p.m. show and extend my nap and then rally for that midnight show.
there needs to be like a siesta show.
There kind of is.
Like why does it just GCW have like a recovery lounge? You know what I mean? Like I think there's an opportunity there.
Well, Penn's Landing was really nice too because like the lobby area was generally open between shows, so there was like a stairwell and stuff that wasn't really being used, so people could sit there. There was ample room like outside in the like outdoor area, so like if it hadn't been particularly cold, it would have been perfectly nice to sit there. It just for timing wise, it wasn't badly located or badly situated. It's just you didn't have a whole lot of time to rest in between matches. The most time you got is Saturday between the afternoon show and Clusterfuck. And because of like
I learned the most interesting place to meet people.
Bathroom.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I met so many people in the bathroom.
Who'd you meet in the bathroom?
Well, there were a couple of wrestlers.
Uh-huh.
I won't say just because it's weird to be like, I met so and so in the bathroom. But
Listen, last year I ran into Conan in the bathroom. It's not like you don't don't strike up a conversation, okay? But it's just
no.
like, well, yes, I pissed next to Conan.
Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, because I mentioned to a friend that I saw so and so in the bathroom, and they're like, oh, did you say that? And I'm like, no, we're in the bathroom. That's the last. I don't even really want to bother a wrestler, period, when it's like during a show, like around a show area, but like especially not in the bathroom.
I like it's just so.
Do not speak unless spoken to.
Like when the first time we went, Missy's like, she's like going off to do something. I think she went to the bathroom and then like she ran into somebody, like not in the bathroom for this one, but she's like, I just ran by. She's like, I just walked by the Big Show. He's big, like stuff like that. Like I went, and I think it was the day I was covering for Joe, and it's like I go do my thing, turn around. There's a big guy like washing face paint off. I was like, oh, it must be some fan. I'm like, nah, he's too big to be a fan. And I look at the face paint, I'm like, fuck, that's the Warlord.
They must have not had a lot of backstage space in the venue properly for GCW because they set up some tents behind behind the building for the wrestlers, specifically for like a green room area. And so that ended up being a place that if you wanted to have sightings or even like run-ins, if you were anywhere near there, you'd definitely see people. Yep. You would just like hanging out on the grass, chatting, ice in their face, like the poor guy, the Gene from Progress, who unfortunately broke his nose during the Session Moth Martina. He tagged with Session Moth Martina against Bussy in that show, and like I don't know how he busted his face, but he wasn't supposed to get a broken nose, but he got a broken nose. No. Poor guy. Yeah, I ran into him and he just said, I was like, how you doing? And he's like, my face hurts and I'm far from home. I'm like, oh no, poor baby.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
and the thing is, like, I saw him, and then as I was walking out, I ran into the barbarian. I was just like, oh god.
Yeah.
No, those are always interesting. Missy said she ran into she knew one of the wrestlers, definitely a total diva. And she's like trying to figure out who the other one was, because like they were complaining about how bad it was at WWE back in the day or something.
Oh boy.
So, I was like, it's always like the WrestleCon bathroom seems to be the most interesting thing
WrestleCon bathroom
from
would
times.
be.
So I also learned that the Acclaimed, because the Acclaimed booth was right next to Joe's, they love the slow cap situation. There's a low point there. And once again, Billy Gunn is always the happiest person you ever see anywhere.
Thinking of people tabling in WrestleCon, a friend of our show, Flighty Buttless, who does like wrestling themed merch, they had a table at WrestleCon positioned right next to the love of my life, my number one crush, one Mr. Ricky Morton. And Ricky Morton comes in on like Friday morning and like is unloading his stuff like next to Flighty, and at one point he just looks at her, he's like, time to make some money. It's like, fuck yeah, Ricky Morton.
Oh, it's just like being next to Virgil.
All right.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
It was just like, yep.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Telling you stories.
There's only one.
Still up there telling stories, and none of the angels want to hear. But you know what? Good for you, dude.
Yes, absolutely. God, yeah. You know what? Next time he's in town, I'll have you take Ricky Morton the subway.
That's always a fun experience. I heard that's a fun experience.
Did I tell you that story?
Look, yes, you did.
Did I tell you how he introduced me to his tag team partner the next show?
Yep. Look, I got a car. I will clean it.
Mm-hmm.
I will give Ricky Morton the A+
Listen,
treatment.
my car was at least cleaner than that venue, so I'm good. So.
Look, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to, because I'm not sure if the restraining order still holds.
Okay.
Like, frankly, being in the venue with him
Let's
on
not
Friday
get
night.
you in trouble. Riz, what did you learn from throwing a party this weekend?
I learned that that a move can be hit so rarely that people think it's a botch and then get automatically commented on and had reported and corrected on the spot on Twitter.
What was the move?
The brain buster.
Wait, they don't see brain busters?
No, he hasn't done the brain buster on the top turnbuckle. He did that against in his Gunther match. Sammy did it in Gunther match.
Yeah.
And people were actually thinking it was a botch.
Oh.
Well, that's dumb.
No,
And,
But
so-
it's the same move Kyle Fletcher was doing that almost wiped out Will Ospreay a few weeks ago, right?
I mean,
Right.
watch more wrestling, everybody.
Maybe you should watch Wednesday nights, guys.
I mean,
It even
to be
says
fair,
on-
on the indies, often guys announce it before they do it to other
Like
guys.
anime characters.
Look, brain buster.
I love when indie wrestlers think they're anime characters and yell moves.
It's pretty
Yeah.
adorable.
Yes. Sorry, Riz, go ahead.
Like I was going to say, it does say on here, and I'm going to read it verbatim from this report here. It says, no botch here. This is a top rope brain buster, a move that El Generico / Sami Zayn has done many times. Has done many times throughout his career.
But who looks at a top rope brain buster and thinks that's a botch?
Somebody who hasn't seen it before.
Yeah,
Because the way you hit and come down can look pretty rough.
right.
So I can understand somebody thinking that doesn't know and thinks they know how wrestling
And
works.
I do have to say,
I just assume everyone knows what they're doing until they prove differently.
Yeah, and I have to say, the report got it wrong. Please, Sami Zayn and El Generico, two different people.
Well,
Two different people. Yeah, I don't know why they
different
equated
Yeah,
them.
El Generico's went home to feed hungry children or something
Yeah,
in Ethiopia.
I mean,
I think he,
yeah.
I think he died. Did he? Yeah, he
yeah.
died.
Oh no! All right.
Yeah, he passed.
R.I.P.
One love, El Generico.
Yeah, hanging out with Virgil.
Yeah. Well.
Fortunately, I don't think they speak the same language.
Oh, good. Anyways.
No, he probably says he does, but he doesn't.
So, Mad One learned that teeth are a part of a balanced dinner, and that the ending of the Cody Roman match. Wait a minute. What?
Teeth are a part of
What?
the balanced dinner?
Okay.
Are you hanging out with Danhausen?
Danhausen? Yeah, is it that Danhausen reference?
go.
I did get to see someone eat teeth over the weekend. because Danhausen was in a tag match against Nick Gage and Makito. I
Nice.
believe that Makito ate some teeth.
Nice. Makito. Oh, I missed a chance to see Makito.
Maki Death Kill, man. Makito was all over the collective. I got to see her multiple times. I'm not gonna lie, it never got old. It was so good. Yeah.
Also Suzuki. Man, I thought I saw a man. I saw a man start crying when Suzuki was the surprise on Friday night at ROH.
Oh, I would understand that. Wait, on Friday?
Yeah.
What?
Bang Bang Gang came out and had an open challenge, and then Lance Archer came out with Ryan Zane and reminded everybody that they're a tag team in New Japan, right? Not Ryan Zane.
Oh,
Alex Zane.
Alex Zane.
Ryan
Sorry.
Zane.
Wouldn't that be
Ryan
great?
Zane.
Yeah, Ryan
My
Zane.
God! No wonder you didn't want to say hi to me. You're so famous
And
now.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, wait, weren't they part of And Here Comes Suzuki? And I was like, yes.
How did that timing? Oh, that's interesting because he was at spring break that same night, so he must have
It's probably the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That checks out because he would have been. I think they were pretty early in the card, so yeah, he just jetted out of there. They got Suzuki right over to the building because he had his tag match.
Also noted, if Emily takes Ricky Martin to the subway, I'll never get him back.
That's right.
Well, yes, because that subway takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one will get him back.
I think the subway is also a problem.
Look,
Rainbow.
wherever we end up is where we end up. Okay.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about it.
And Tina got to see Suzuki again in Portland on Sunday.
Nice, Tina.
Nice. And the Brain Bust is even in the new game. So
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
I picked up at Joe Dabrowski's House of Fun 2K18. Isn't that the one that killed the franchise for a minute?
No.
No, is it 19?
20.
20. Oh,
20 is the bad.
This is one. This is
bad.
well, I got it for the collection and I put it on my tab. So,
Nothing that happened in 20 matters anyway. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
there you
true.
go. So it's like everything shut down and we had a bad wrestling game. It was a terrible.
Oh my God, a terrible year.
Yeah.
I had a son. Whoa. No, it was a wonderful thing.
Anyways, Emily, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks
and
for having me.
telling us about your adventures with wrestling and
Oh
Fago.
my God, thank you for making it worth all that.
Thank you so much. Where can people check out where you talk some more, probably more about this weekend?
Yes, our episode is a little late this week, so it'll be out tomorrow morning. Because all of us were in town essentially. Almost every single one of us came to shows as part of our team. So Harley and his wife came in on late Friday, and so they were at a couple shows. But yeah, Grit and Glitter is the podcast. We cover the world of women's wrestling. If you tune in this week, our episode usually goes up on Tuesday morning, but it will be up Wednesday morning because this week we feature myself and Dawn Halliwell and our friend Laz on the road back from Philly talking about what we watched. Harley has recorded a couple of things that he watched, including After Spark Joshi on Sunday. And another one of our Glitterati members, Lindsay, was also at a couple shows, including, I believe, Spark Joshi, so she'll also be on that episode as well, so it's a lot of different coverage. But yeah, we release every week on Tuesdays. We also have a Patreon where we have a monthly podcast where we detail the history of women in the WWE, the ups and mostly downs. We're currently in a big down right now period of time, but it's exhaustively researched by my co-host Harley R. Paget, so I really recommend people do the Patreon subscription 1 month and listen to all the podcasts and drop us after that, by all means. So that's where you can find me, and you can find myself on Twitter.
Thank you.
At Forked PGH.
Thank you so much. The Riz will be, I don't know, where are you going to be this weekend? Did we determine where you're going to be this weekend?
Work at the shows?
No, not yet.
No. Okay. We could use you Sunday. So Riz may be at a wrestling show this weekend.
I may be at a wrestling show.
We'll see.
I may also be on Riz Plays Games on Twitter.
There you
on
go.
Twitch as well, playing some games.
Excellent.
As I normally do.
And I will be in the Van Nuys, Los Angeles area this weekend at Thunderbird Field. I think that's the one. No, it's supposed to rain the 2 days I'm standing in a field, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm going to be there for SAE Aero Design. It has nothing to do with wrestling. We're going to see if if we find out if there's a territorial fight still with the ice cream trucks that come through the area. Because I almost saw some action last time I was there 2 years ago. But yeah, we're going to be hanging out in the Hollywood area if anybody's out there wants to say hi. Alex Cars, we got to say hi to you out there for sure. But I'll be mostly remote producing the shows from this weekend on IndyWrestling.us from there in the evenings for most of the time. But I will be programming. No, we will not be live next Tuesday because I will be going to Star Wars night at Disneyland. So I've made some adult decisions.
You were talking about that. I do remember you talking about this, like,
yes,
a while ago. Too.
It's like the late night, like to 1 a.m. Star Wars like spectacular night that they're having out there.
Wow, that sounds so crazy.
Yes, and I'm going with
dorky.
Dutters, who is the biggest. We were I think we mostly not talked her out of Slave Leia costume, but
why did you talk her out of it?
It wasn't me talking her.
What
out
is
of
your
it.
problem? Why did you deny us this?
I don't know. There's like a thing against Slave Leia at Disney right now, so I was worried about that. So then we'll have to go through the deal.
Look,
so
that's removing like one of the only redeemable things about Return of the Jedi.
Should I get a costume? I don't know.
Slave Leia.
I'll go as Slave Leia.
You go as Slave Leia.
They can't say anything to you if you're Slave Leia.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Patreon. There's going to be so much more to talk about here. We'll see you guys next time. But I do have a special in mind here for you guys, so stay tuned. We should have something up here for Tuesday. I think it's going to be a first special flashback episode next week. So stay tuned.
A very special episode.
A very special episode.
Oh my God!
It's
some
the
very
show
familiar
episode.
faces.
It's the show. It's the show where Sorg talks Riz out of using drugs. Just like a special episode.
I don't think that's a
That's
problem.
gonna be a weird episode.
Yeah, especially
episode.
since I'm the one that does beer and drugs, and
well, yeah, like you talked Riz out of it, and then you were like, I will take on these vices.
Yes.
I do it for
Sorg
you,
is
Riz.
actually taking my drugs.
Yeah, he's
alcohol.
jumping in front of that train for you. He's like, no.
I appreciate that.
Guys, we'll see you next time. Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron Media. Just to sleep. Oh no, I'm back.